Hi, this is Joe again with another review. For the sake of this video, we'll be discussing the 2010 film Tron Legacy, starring Jeff Bridges. Of course, this movie, it took a long time, folks. It took 28 years. I'm not exaggerating. From the first Tron movie, which came out way back in 1982, to when the sequel was made in 2010. Now, I don't know why it took 28 years for someone to make a sequel to Tron, because Tron was a revolutionary movie back in 1982. It wasn't that great of a film, but it was revolutionary in the fact that for the special effects, it was the first really computer-generated effects for a major motion picture, and Disney was the one that produced the original film, Tron. I think because Tron, there was so many other blockbusters that came out in 1982 that, well, 1982 in particular, E.T. and Star Trek 2, The Wrath of Khan. So those movies overtook, and Tron is maybe the third biggest movie that came out that year. So, if that. And also, there was also the movie The Gandhi also came out that year. So Tron kind of became overlooked over the years because it's dated. By today, even by 2010, when the sequel came out, it was completely dated with the whole video game culture and stuff like that. And if you want to look, I did a review of Tron. Just look it up on my channel, on my YouTube channel, I should say, and you'll find it. Well, the plot of Tron Legacy is that the Jeff Bridges character, Flynn, is now missing. Been missing for like 20 years or so. And his son, Flynn's son, is supposed to take over the company in his father's absence because his father's missing. I think he might have been declared dead. Or not quite. I don't think he was declared dead yet, but he was about to. And in the meantime, his son is supposed to take over the company, and he decides to be a slacker about it. And so he's trying to search for his father to try to figure out what happened to him. And after a while, he cared about it, and now after 20 years, he doesn't give a shit anymore. And so but Flynn's old friend is one of the few. There's really about maybe 3 characters from the original movie that came into this one. Jeff Bridges' character was another character, was a friend at the computer company, and Tron himself. That's it. Nobody else from the original movie came out. There's only one other person there's maybe a reference to, and that was the son of the Dillinger character from the original movie. And Dillinger was the real villain in the first Tron movie. And his son, Dillinger's son, now works for the same computer company that his father got thrown out of, after the incidents in the first Tron film. So now his son is working there, and everybody's wondering what happened to Flynn, and Flynn's old friend there gives Flynn's son the keys to Flynn's old arcade, which has now been pretty much abandoned. They still have the video games in there, like Pac-Man and the Tron video game and stuff. And so the son goes in there, finds this old office that's hidden inside his father's arcade, radio arcade, and he ends up getting zapped into the computer and then transported into the computer world of Tron. And it's much darker, computer generated world than it was in the first movie, because a lot of dark scenes and not as bright as it was in the original film. Because the original movie was very bright and stuff. You almost hurt your eyes. That's how bright it was in the original movie. Now it took the other spectrum. And part of the reason is that Jeff Bridges' character, Flynn, his avatar in this computer world that Flynn created, who looks just like a young Jeff Bridges, which it was, because he used Jeff Bridges' young 1982 face under this character. He pretty much took over this computer world, and he wants to have his world be the only world in cyberspace. The computer world was to take over all the computers, all the computer nets, all that type of thing. And Flint's son is there trying to survive, and he ends up finding his father, who is trapped in the computer world. And he does find his father. He does find his own father. So you have two Jeff Bridges in this movie: the young version and the 2010 version of Jeff Bridges. And so the son is trying to get both himself and his father out of this computer world. And it's a big surprise, the father, Jeff Bridges' character, doesn't go out with him. He gets destroyed along with the rest. It's a major spoiler for those of you who didn't see this movie. But then he gets destroyed along with the computer world as the son escapes with the female character that's in the computer world. So now the female computer character is now out in the real world at the end of this movie, and she goes, "Wow!" Because the sun was coming up, and she goes, "Wow, look at that sunset!" Because she never saw a sunset before, and she never even seen a computer-generated sunset before either. And she goes and goes, "Wow!" And that's pretty much how and the son decides to take over the computer company, and decided to take more of a role in the computer company in the end of the film, and that's pretty much it. I mean, this film, and I'm doing a short review here, but the fact of the matter is that Tron Legacy is almost a similar plot to what the original Tron was, except for the fact is that Tron has such a small, tiny character in this film compared to the original one. The original one, Tron has a much bigger role, but here he has such a small, tiny role, and technically, Jeff Bridges was really the Tron character in this film compared to the original film. I think the roles were kind of like reversed or something, and from this movie compared to the original. But if you've never seen the original Tron movie, you might like this one. But if you like the original Tron movie, you're going to like the original Tron better, because that one had more of a better plot than this one. The only difference is that the Flint character was missing for 20 years, and it's hard to believe that nobody figured out that Jeff Bridges was trapped in the computer. No, I mean, you have to explain this, but how can no one figure it out? They figured out in the original movie that Dillinger was trapping people in his video game system just to bump them off. So people could have assumed the same thing in this movie and take care of Dillinger's son in this film, and trying to, release Jeff Bridges and his son from the computer in this movie. They kind of forgot that little details in this film. They kind of almost forgot. They didn't even want to mention what happened in the original movie, which is ridiculous, which is a shame. But in terms of the graphics were better in this movie, because naturally you get more CGI didn't really exist back in 1982. That was part of the problems with the original Tron movie. As revolutionary as that was with special effects, you didn't have CGI to fall back on. This one you did, and the graphics were a little bit better. It was like a little bit cleaner with the effects. Definitely improved compared to what the original movie was, but that doesn't mean that the movie is better. I like the original Tron movie better than Tron Legacy. So that's my review of the movie Tron Legacy. Please click on the video, please rate it. Feel free to subscribe to my channel. Please forward this video to your Facebook page. You can check out all my reviews and on my YouTube channel at RallyC.com. That's all WDY.C.com. That's the homepage of Rally Reviewer, Christy Moore, and please check out all of his videos on his website. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time.